Many iconic images may pop into your head when you think of Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. Perhaps it's the iconic centerpiece, Cinderella's castle, or maybe it's Mickey Mouse. Maybe it's a Dole Whip in Adventureland, or one of those giant turkey legs. Or perhaps it's the transportation system of the future, those sleek white bullets driving across the tracks above your head. I'm talking about the monorails. For many, especially those staying at one of the hotels connected to the monorail line, such as the Contemporary, the monorail may be your first experience before entering the most magical place on Earth. Well, the monorails have, unfortunately, begun to show their wear. Not long ago, reports came in constantly of the monorails being in a state of disrepair. The doors would stay open even in motion, refuse to open at all, or just fall off entirely. Now, Disney has been updating the monorails for the past few years, giving them a new coat of paint and some gorgeous interior redesigns, but that's just a bandage over the underlying issue that the monorails are past their expiration date. It has been 40 years since Disney introduced this fleet of 12 monorails. In April of 2018, Bob Gurr, the head Imagineer behind the monorails, was at a fan event Q&A when he said, quote, "Machines do not last forever. You typically design them in transportation industries for 20-year service." Disney has quite literally doubled the life expectancy of their monorails. In addition to this perpetuating issue, there are now far more modes of transportation introduced to the Disney Parks guests over the 50 years of the Walt Disney World Resort. Buses, Lyft's minivan service, and the Skyliner system are all efficient and modern offerings for guests to utilize. Now, the monorails are still very important, as they are the marquee benefit to staying at the hotels that are on its route. These hotels, aside from their many luxuries and offerings, tout themselves as giving quick access to the Magic Kingdom and Epcot through their monorail stations. That being said, I still worry that the monorails will continue running until they are beyond repair, and Disney will have to decide if they're worth replacing with new monorails or scrapping in favor of alternative transportation options. The refurbishments to the current fleet lead me to believe there are no current plans to replace them with new models, which is worrisome. For today's video, I wanted to discuss some of the reasons I love the monorails, and hopefully I can convince you why Disney needs to give them more love, if you weren't convinced already. When I think of Disney, I think of unique experiences I cannot get at home. The rides, the theming, the food, the interactions, and even the transportation. I discussed the magic and wonder of the Walt Disney World Railroad in a previous video, which harkens back to a simpler time where trains were one of the most efficient and popular forms of transportation. But monorails represent the future of efficient transportation. I know plenty of cities have monorails, but they're not like the Disney monorail. There's something incredibly unique about flying through the sky and seeing a giant castle out your window, with whimsical music playing on the speakers. When you stay at a resort on the monorail line, it's so convenient to leave your hotel room, hop on a monorail, and be whisked away to Magic Kingdom or Epcot without lifting a finger. Well, you gotta walk there, but pretty much without lifting a finger. The monorail is part of the magical experience of Disney, and I cannot imagine the park without seeing it driving above my head. Even if I'm not riding it, I want to see it. For those staying at the monorail resorts or parking their car at the TTC, Transportation and Ticket Center, the monorail may actually be one of the first things you see before entering the parks. They're a guide to the magic. So now I hopefully convinced you why the monorails are cool, why they're beneficial to the parks and your experience at the resort, but how do we fix them? I'm not just talking about the obvious repairs and replacements that are needed. I want to explore ways in which we can elevate the experience to an even greater height, make them even more amazing, even more magical. Simply put, spin a little Disney magic onto them. One way this can be done is to have Mickey, Minnie, or other characters talk during the trip. Have the characters talk about the area you're passing and ask questions that children or adults can interact with. This idea is similar to my idea for the Walt Disney World Railroad. In that previous video, I mentioned integrating IP and characters into experiences that do not already have them. I know a lot of Disney fans are hesitant to add IP to original rides and experiences, but inclusions like this fit with Disney's synergy efforts across the company and can actually elevate an attraction like this, in my opinion. You could also incorporate the Disney Parks Play app to have fun games exclusive to when you're riding the monorail. Just something to do if you get sick of looking out the window. Can't really imagine that since the views are pretty gorgeous sometimes, but sometimes kids don't want to do that. Sometimes they want something that they can really get their hands on and interact with. Make these monorails more advanced than a NASA spaceship. Equip each car with screens that play Disney cartoons or provide information on where the monorail's heading. Also, add projection screens onto the windows. These screens could project stuff like Buzz Lightyear or Iron Man flying outside, or Spider-Man and Stitch climbing the side of the walls. The possibilities are endless. While this is not an improvement on the monorail itself, I feel that marketing them as a must-do attraction would make them more popular and give the Walt Disney Company more incentive to improve upon them. Much like the countless hats, shirts, and even plushes for the Dole Whip, the slushy theme to the Purple Wall, Disney can start selling specialized merchandise that makes the monorail into a brand. They're already doing this. Just push it even further. Make it a real sight to behold, and a real thing you can bring back with you, more than just a toy. Make shirts, make jokes, inside jokes, anything you can do. As of now, most guests see the monorail as just a mode of transportation, a means of getting to the rides. But if Disney can represent the monorail as a ride in itself, guest satisfaction is sure to rise. In addition, guests will also be more enticed to stay at hotels on the monorail route, which means more money in the mouse's pocket, eh? In the end, I just love the monorail, and I want to see it improve in the near future. It was always one of my favorite things to do as a kid, and is still one of my favorite icons of the Disney vacation experience. I feel that these ideas I've given can improve upon them, but it is up to Disney whether or not the monorails can see a great big beautiful tomorrow or not. What are your experiences with the monorail? Do you have any good or bad memories riding them in Disney World or Disneyland? What would you do to improve upon them? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter so you never miss an update on our newest videos. Thanks for watching.